Hi guys, welcome back to the Revive Stronger podcast. I'm your host, as always, Steve Hall, and today we have an episode with Mike Israetel. He's just finished his contest season. He literally just competed this past weekend and took second in the super heavies at Nationals NPC, and we talk a lot about that. And I think this was a really enlightening episode, especially for a lot of competitors, especially for those of you who are maybe underdogs. I think you'll really appreciate this chat. For me, it was an incredible conversation. And as always, guys, if you are interested in contest prep, that sort of thing, we have coaches on the team who can help you with that. So definitely check out our coaching team. And we have an ebook, The Ultimate Guide to Contest Prep. So if you're ever interested in learning more as a coach or competitor, definitely check out those resources. Without further ado, let's get into the episode. Hi guys, welcome to the Revive Stronger podcast. I'm your host, as always, Steve Hall, and today I have Mike Israetel back on the show. I think I say this every time that we chat, Mike, but I'm always like, it feels too long. And I always appreciate having Mike back on the show and having a chat. I need to actually...
too long, Steve.
I know Crystal, I was messaging Dr. Crystal, Mike's wife. She was messaging me whilst I was in Vegas, giving me some helpful tips for food mostly, and bits and pieces, which was great. And she was asking, she was like, we've got a spare bed over here. We've got that. There was like a hack squat I tried out, and she was like, we've got that one. I think it was like the Arsenal strength one.
Yes.
Or the Atlantis one, actually, I think. You've got Atlantis?
Got Arsenal, but
Arsenal
we're getting
okay.
more stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was like, we've got a spare bed. And I was like, oh man, I actually need to arrange a time at some point, if that offer is still open at some point, to come and just like hang out and be there and train in your gym.
Always
Although
open.
you're in Vegas now, right?
I'm in Vegas right now, but the gym is in Michigan.
Yeah.
Which is actually a much shorter flight from the United Kingdom. And it's actually only a 7-hour flight. And in Michigan, we have the Renaissance Gym, private training facility. It is right next to our house. It is a fully equipped gym, and it is getting more and more equipped all the time. We're going to be probably the best equipped gym in Michigan here in about 6 months. And it's just all stuff for people to come use and come shoot YouTube videos. So if you want to come stay with us and shoot some videos, the offer is always open. I would recommend coming in the summer. Michigan in the winter is no fun place.
I am actually going to have to, something I'm terrible at is, I don't know if you're, no, I think you're pretty good at this, Mike. I'm like in my routine and I'm like, I'm just getting this done. And I'm not wanting to like, I don't know, things like traveling and the bits and pieces like that. If I can avoid it, I tend to avoid it. But especially going to Vegas and appreciating the gyms, meeting people, and that I can fly and I'm not as bad a flyer as I once thought. Like that was an 11-hour flight. It was all right. So 7 hours sounds short to me. So I think I'm going to have to try and make that happen.
Yeah, let us know.
And so actually one question, this just randomly came into head because Mike went to get a drink of water. And for those who don't know, Mike's been, well, just literally this weekend, massive congratulations. I haven't actually said this to you in person, Mike, but massive congratulations for your placing. But more than that, and I know it probably I don't know, I guess the placing probably doesn't matter as much to you as the physique you brought, because it was substantially
I can talk about that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I was actually, the random question
that.
I was going to ask before that, and then we can get into it, was, are you already, or have you been noticing you were peeing a lot, like incessantly, like in the last few weeks of prep? Has that been happening?
In the last week before, we started pushing my water higher.
Okay.
And I was peeing an unbelievable amount. I always pee pretty often anyway. Like most nights will wake up at least once, usually twice at night to pee. I haven't slept through a whole night in memory. I have no memory of a night where I slept through.
Same.
Outside of high school. In high school, I think I had one night where I slept all the way through. And I woke up and I thought my dick was going to explode off my body. And then I peed painfully for probably 2 minutes straight. And I was like, okay, I somehow just didn't wake up from that in the middle of the night. I have like a tiny bladder or whatever. So I'm used to it. But here's a really trippy story about my pee. We for this peak, I have this body water thing where I store a lot of body water. Taking one particular substance, which I'll just be public with it, called aldactone or spironolactone. It hugely helps me drop body water, completely transforms my physique. Takes 5 pounds of body water off instantly and gives me stride at everything, and I actually look like a bodybuilder. And even still, I am in a situation where I was peaking for Saturday show. I stopped drinking water with my food, except for like maybe a sip here and there to let the food go down. Midday Thursday, all of the rest of Thursday, the entire day Friday, and all the way Saturday up until 8:30 p.m. when I walked off the stage, I had 200 milliliters of water, maybe less. So I was peeing just a little bit that whole time, but consistently. And my pee never got really dark. Then when I started having fluids after the show, but for like a little bit of pee when I like took a dump or something, because you can't actually poop without peeing a little bit. It's impossible. I didn't have a voluminous pee for the next 16 hours. I just stored every bit of fluid. I ate so many fruits, and I had probably like a gallon of water, and nothing came out because I was like, my body was like, you are dehydrated. What the fuck are you doing to yourself? And I also came off the aldactone, so there's a rebound effect there. You store more water after because your body's like, oh shit, we get to store everything. But I was like really weird. I was like, oh my God, like, am I okay? And even the next day, there's like a delayed effect where I was still dry as fuck. Because once you get dry, staying dry is pretty easy. It's the getting dry that's tough. And for me, next time we peak me, I'll probably stop or reduce water consumption even further out, which for most people is unheard of. But I'm like a camel or something. I just store a ton of water. And my conditioning at this last show was the best it's ever been. And one of the reasons was we pulled water so far out.
I was going to say, you might have been looking forward to peeing less, only because for me, I was peeing all the time. But I'm similar to you. I can't remember the last time I slept through a whole night either. Like, it just doesn't happen. So when people say it, I'm like, well, it just doesn't happen for me. Even when I'm like well fed and fine, it's just I pee a lot. But
it doesn't bother me a ton either.
No, it's only bothersome for me when I was like, I don't know, on an hour walk, and I'm like halfway through, and I'm like, I need to pee somewhere. Luckily, I'm a man, so we have some helpful tools to allow you to do that in most places.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So, but interesting. And actually, we got a lot of questions through about like, what's your peak week approach, this sort of thing. But I'd love to hear about what it meant to you to bring what you brought to stage, and then also the second place.
Yeah. So, really good questions. First of all, I had so when I got as lean as I was going to get for this prep, I knew that I wasn't as lean as I would think someone who deserves a pro card. I was about 2% body fat, too fat, I think. I was 5.8% fat, according to the decks I got the Thursday before the show. I think I need to be something like 3.8% or below. Like, holy, that nobody's beating him kind of conditioning. Like, you see that guy in the tanning room, and you're like, fuck, that guy won, So I knew that I didn't estimate. I put this on Instagram. I didn't estimate that I was going to win the class and win the overall. I knew I was in real good shape. And I had this thing where, I used to really suck at bodybuilding because I never could figure out the peaking process. And then last year I did the Diamond Classic, the local show, and I won the Masters division. I won the overall Masters and won the overall for the heavies and the open. And I finally looked like a bodybuilder, and people were like, wow, like, this is a big deal. This is really cool. And then this time, my aspiration this entire time was to be competitive at the top national stage and maybe at some point vie for a Masters Pro card in my wildest dreams. And, you never really know if you're delusional or how you stack up against these actual guys going. And I weighed in at 225.8 or something like that. And 225.4 is the cutoff for supers. So I was like, fuck it, I don't care, because it's only one pro card up for grabs anyway, the overall. I was like, who cares? I don't give a fuck. And I got into the supers class. I was the smallest super by a long shot as far as body weight. I was the shortest super by probably like half a head and often a head and a half. And I was definitively the most conditioned super in the class and one of the most conditioned guys in the show, which for me to say that out loud is like baffling, like coming out of my own mouth. Jared's over there smiling. He loves it. Have fun. Jared's off to do cardio, which I assume is just to hook up with somebody. He put on only his underwear and walked out.
And a condom.
And a condom, of course. Well, that never comes off. So basically, for me to say accurately, it's not something I said. It was something that was said to me. I met Mark Lobliner backstage, and I met Jose Antonio backstage, the Boston Mass himself. I actually had no idea I was talking to him for like 30 minutes, and I was like, "Oh, you're that guy." He's like, "Yeah." And we met for the first time. He's like, "Dude, you look ridiculous." And I was like, "Thank you." And I just thought he was some guy who was kind of jacked and really short. And because he's retired, he's still super fucking jacked. But like, I don't know, thought, whatever. It's a nice guy. Some handler for some other guy. That other guy turned out to be Mark Lobliner. That guy turned out to be Jose Antonio. And we got to get close, and it was really cool. But a bunch of people were like, "Dude, you're shredded, this and that." And then the pictures don't lie. I mean, clearly, the guy with the most glute separation, hamstring detail, glute striations, blah, blah. And for me, Mike, to be that guy at a show already was this huge victory for myself. And then, the guy who beat me, he had excellent aesthetics. I mean, this is a guy who, like, if he gets shit together, it's going to be unbelievable because he's just like African-American genetic freak, like the best. Like, this is true, like, destiny for a guy like this. Like, unreal shoulders, this waist is this big, unbelievable. But I was more conditioned and more complete body part-wise. I just look like, my physique is just shitty aesthetic. So
I feel you.
I wasn't at all. Yeah, right. Yeah, you and I didn't get the shape cards. So, but like, here's the thing: if I had won, but it was on my shape, that's not an accomplishment. Like, okay, sweet, you were born like that. But me taking second, being told I was the leanest guy in the class, and for my height, by far the most muscularly developed guy in the class, I was like, yeah, that's what's up, because I can control those variables, and at least one of those. Muscularity never came that difficult to me, but leanness came very difficult to me, and dryness did as well. And for me to nail that and take second, I was over the fucking moon. Like, I'll post a video later when I announced it, and like, when they announced my name in second, I smiled. It was a genuine smile. I wasn't faking it. I was like, yes. Like, I can't fucking believe it. I made the first call out. I didn't even know it was the first call out. Jared's like, I was like, "What do you think?" He's like, "Yeah, you're top 3." And I was like, "How do you know that?" He's like, "Dude, they only called the top 3 to compare you guys. They just didn't compare anybody else." And I was like, "Oh, that was the top 3?" He's like, "Yeah, fucking moron." And I was like, "Holy shit." So for me to be a super heavyweight contender at the Masters national level in the NPC in the United States, I, in some sense, feel like I've arrived. Now, I know that sounds super lame to onlookers, like, if you're not a pro, if you're not a top pro, if you're not the Mr. Olympia, you haven't arrived. But look, we all come from a different place, and we have different expectations for ourselves. I was a 130-pound Russian Jewish kid from Oak Park, Michigan. I was mediocre at sports. For me to say that I'm a contender in bodybuilding at a national level, nuts. And a super heavyweight, nuts. So I was just completely over the moon. Is there a part of me that wanted to win the class? Sure. That I want a pro card? Of course. But I kept reminding myself when I would get nervous and anxious throughout the prep, especially the weekend of how is it going to happen? What's going to happen at the show? Check out your competitors. It's not up to me. And everything I could do, I already did. The only thing I left to do was hit my pose as well, which I did a pretty good job with, making sure the hamstrings are there, the glutes are being flexed, and making sure the quads are being shown off properly. I could do that, and I think I did a pretty good job. But everything else I had done already weeks ago, and that was done. And now it's just about retooling for next time, putting on a crap load of muscle. Now I know how to get lean. I have that formula down, and I know how to pull that string further, just more time. And now I know that I will be able to, as long as I don't get hurt or sick, have a physique that's way better next time and way leaner. and I'll be a fucking problem. I'll be a problem for the Masters Pro, and we'll see if it happens. And if it doesn't, no big deal. All I can ever expect from myself is I'm going to fucking try real hard over the next few years to make the quality improvements I need, so that in my early 40s, I'm 37 now, in my late 30s, early 40s, I'm going to be getting on the stage a few times and really fucking going for it. And I think another thing that may be meaningful to some of the viewers, I have a picture of me that I posted on Instagram. It was a screenshot taken from me, Jared, and Charlie, Most Muscular. You might have seen it. I'm kind of off to the angle a little bit, and I look ridiculous, like enormous and ripped, and my legs and thighs are touching together. And that picture, when I saw it, I told Jared, I was like, if I get hit by a car tomorrow and can't use my legs and I'm done bodybuilding, I'll be able to say I look really special and I did what I had to do. Like that picture alone, I stared at for minutes and minutes and minutes. And I was like, that's really me. And they're like, yes. Jared and Charlie, like, yes, it's really. And I was like, this isn't just some lighting or camera angle thing. Like I look like that. Like you look like that every single session we've trained with you this week. And all those YouTube videos are going to be coming out, by the way. But you look absurd. And I was like, I look like a comic book character. And they're like, yeah. And I'm just like, this is amazing. Like, what else? To me, the spiritual journey of bodybuilding is much less about victories. Like, for example, if I came in off and it was like some year where like COVID version 5.0 hit and there was 3 guys and somehow the other 2 guys were even more off and I just looked like shit and I got a pro card nominally, it wouldn't mean fucking hardly anything. It's not about the pro card for me. For me, it's about, given my genetics and my inputs, did I make something that I thought looked real special over the course of my life? And god damn, can I say yes to that shit. Like all the pictures I've got over this last prep, especially towards the end. I mean, to me, like I have clearly striated glutes. And fuck, man, let me show you. Let's see if we can band on YouTube community. There's no actual dicks in this, and it'll probably come out real bad over Zoom. But I have one particular set of pictures I took, which, you know, like my Instagram got banned and everything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which, with the photo, which, what Instagram are we forwarding people to, actually? I wanted to do that like right at the start.
Dr. Mike Israetel. RP Dr. Mike is dead. If he's revived, then he's got so many strikes in his account from like comments made years ago in just debates with people that anytime I can get off, like anytime I get flagged again, I'll just be off. So if I ever get that account back, I'm just going to post every week, just one post that says, hey guys, follow me on Dr. Mike Israetel. This account is getting deactivated soon. And I'll get as many ported over as possible and just shut that down. Yeah, it's not worth it for me anymore. Let's see if this is remotely visible.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I can die happy. This is insane. Like,
spoken like a true bodybuilder.
Right? Like cross-striated glutes. I win. So I'm super fucking happy. And I've got an amazing plan in place to dial up the special sport supplements, because as we've said a few times, myself and Jared and Charlie have really only been like kitty fucking around with that shit. And we've come quite a way. So now it's probably time to make the dial up to a low to moderate use by standards of other people that are as muscular as us. And then I think that there's a very decent chance that over the next year or two, I might, if I'm still healthy and I'm still relatively young, things might get really out of hand freakiness wise. And I'm super excited about that.
I think we are as well. Thank you for sharing that, because I feel like you were talking to my soul almost. And I think this is why, for multiple reasons, I really look up to you, Mike, as an individual and inspiration in that sense, because, and I think a lot of bodybuilders should, because the majority of us aren't born, like, we don't have those perfect symmetry and lines and small waists and everything. So most of us are like those underdogs almost. And I think most bodybuilders should have that attitude. And if you truly, like everything you said, there's a true lover of, to me, the sport of bodybuilding, where you're just trying to maximize yourself. It's kind of you versus you. Obviously, at the end of the day, you're on stage against other people, but ultimately that's not your concern. Are you though?
What can you do about them? What can you do about them? So the judges are against both of you. So, you know, if you're doing MMA or a BJJ or wrestling, yeah, you really do have to fight another person. In bodybuilding, it's not against anyone. It's all you have to do is get your best physique on stage, and then the judges sort you out. So it really is one of those things where people focus on the competition and the things what they want to win. I'm never ever focused on that. I'm always focused on, I want to be better, much better. And if my progress rate is slow, then I want it as fast as I can have it, and just a little better each time, a lot better each time. And at the end of the day, I think the goal is to build something that you can really be proud of based on where you came from. I mean, like, Steve, look at you. Like, let's just be completely honest right now. I'll just say something that could be looked at as rude. But you and I are been friends for long enough where I think you're going to take this the right way. I mean, you're, generally speaking, your genetics for bodybuilding are fucking terrible. Like, they just are. And and you're that guy with fucking enormous arms and the most shredded glutes and damn near the whole sport. How the fuck did you do that? You have a physique where if you go to any gym in the UK, if you go to any fucking nightclub or any beach, beach in the UK is a kind of a joke. You know, you go to France or something and go to a beach, you pull off your shirt and everybody who's not an NPC or like drug using competitive bodybuilder is going to look at you and be like, holy fuck, that's jacked and ripped to shreds. Steve Paul, the fucking guy who got hit by a fucking car on his bike and is 130 pounds of like not even jacked for a fucking soccer player. Like, you became a fucking superhero, and holy fuck, what more can you want? Yeah, okay, you're not going to take fucking first at every natural show because some guy with unreal lines is going to show up and just have his lines. You can't fucking do anything about your lines, but like, and now you took second in the world. You're in the mix for a pro card in the next few years. Steve Hall, damn, you got to know something. Your dedication's got to be crazy. All these other things you've aligned. And the thing is, you can take all those things and teach it to other people. How the fuck do you teach lines to other people? And some people get coaches that were just gifted with their lines. They're like, what the fuck is he telling you to do? Be more like him? Like, hey, like, do this. And, well, my waist doesn't look like that. Like, I don't know. That sucks, you know? So yeah, major respect.
Yeah, I highly appreciate that. I almost feel a bit embarrassed to even hear those things to be said for me, but it's nice to.
Well, true, man.
And I mean, I think a lot of it is. I think it's easy for someone in our shoes to give up and to just like, but what's like, that's the other option, you know? We either dedicate ourselves to it and really give it our go and look to be our absolute best, which is obviously something that you really espouse and have done for years, or you kind of give up, or like, I don't know, or do something else. That's as simple as it is. And that's not what I want to do. So it's kind of, I like the mentality you had there, where I think it could be easy sometimes for me personally, at least, when I look at it and I'm like, just like, I'm not like, one of the judges' feedback, I don't know if I said this to you, was to have like, can you make your waists smaller? Which makes me laugh just when I say it.
Jared Feather has gotten that advice before from a judge. Compared to who?
Jared as well, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Isn't that insane? Yeah. So that sometimes judging advice, like one person, with all due respect, she said this from a very good place. She's like, what kind of feedback did you get afterwards? I'm like, I didn't talk to anybody afterwards. Like what kind of feedback do you think that, like, they go, I used to talk to judges all the time. They have really good insights on posing. But as far as physique development, motherfucker, you know what you need to work on. What is it? Rocket science? Like, please. Like, oh, you need a bigger back. Like, I didn't know that, you know, like as an example of something they told you. Like, if you're a real beginner competitor and you're really out of the loop, hearing from judges is great. But after you know what you're doing, I mean, you can tell them, you probably know way more what to do with yourself than they do. They've looked at you for 30 seconds. You've looked at yourself for 3 hours a day for the last 10 years. So you know all your particulars. I think that's funny, to make your waist small. You need to get your hips cut out and repositioned or something.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's like you said, like at the end of the day, the fact that like you have got to the kind of position you are now where you're competing, you're challenging for those top spots. It's like it is the underdog story. It's like you would never expect this. And like you said, it's not like, for me, it's the same. If I never thought I could possibly even go to Worlds, let alone challenge for a pro card. If I get it, I get it. Amazing. That sounds really good. Mm-hmm. It'll be really nice. It'll feel amazing. But ultimately, it's completely out of our hands. So we got to just do our best job and enjoy the kind of the weird thing that is bodybuilding.
You would think enjoying has something to do with
it. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have something. It's like, you hear the kind of saying, depositing pennies every day. Just waking up and knowing you're kind of progressing something is just, that's priceless.
Hey, Pascal here. I just wanted to take the moment to talk about our membership site. Inside, you'll find a thriving forum, an extensive exercise library, courses, presentations, and research reviews. All I need you to do is hit the link in the description below and sign up.
Big deal. That's what life is all about. Life isn't the living, and in many situations, not in the accomplishments that you get to tick off the boxes at the end of life. And like in my career, I've been in my life, I've been very, I guess, lucky to have been able to check a lot of boxes off objectively about like shit I've accomplished. But nowadays, I'm also very keen on making sure that every day is spent doing things that are productive and doing things that make me feel good. Not like, I'll do heroin today because I don't feel nice. Things that are productive and invest in my future as well. Because at the end of the day, I'm a fucking Jew. And if it doesn't invest in my future, it doesn't feel good. But I mean, it's, if you're not enjoying the journey that is bodybuilding, you're always coming at it from a negative perspective of, oh, I need to fix all these things. My physique is terrible. You're just not going to last. And we actually, sure, it's not super private, but Jared and I have been in Charlie's ear lately. He's had a very tough prep, and he does this thing, which, I'll say it. A lot of Asians do this. Asians are their own worst enemies, their own worst critics. It's a thing that's seemingly almost universal in Asian culture, and I suspect that actually absolutely has a genetic origin. And it's a gift and a curse because a lot of Asians are so goddamn robotic about how fucking amazing they execute the plan. Holy shit. Like, they're just like, do this. And they're like, it's till my death. And they mean that shit. But then on the other hand, a lot of self-criticism, just unbelievable level. And at some point, Charlie was getting real negative. And he was like, dude, I'm not shit. I suck. And we're like, dude, if you suck, what the fuck does that leave everybody else? Are you out of your mind? And we're just trying to, I think with some success, and with something we're working on all the time, is getting folks like Charlie, and that's not just Asians, there's tons of people who do this, where they're so goal-oriented that they're failing to enjoy their achievements so far, failing to enjoy the process of becoming better. And gee, if I was Charlie, first of all, I'd be looking at my body every waking second that I was awake and just baffling at it, especially if I was pumped at the gym. I'd just be like getting other people around to come look at me. Look at this. But it's just, if you love the process, then that takes you to the goals you're going to have the best chances of getting. And you can look back on your life later and say, I really loved it. This was awesome. If you hate the process, you may still accomplish the goals, but then you'll look back and be like, thank God I accomplished that goal. It took me a lot of sacrifice and hatred. Some people say, like, well, you sacrifice a lot when you do contest prep. You do some things, but you also get the beauty of contest prep. It's its own beautiful thing. When I'm done bodybuilding, I'm going to miss being in the fucking grind. I'm going to miss waking up at 4 a.m. and eating like 2 egg wraps that have 5 grams of protein each, so that my stomach stops eating itself, so I can actually go back to sleep for the next few hours. Like, there's a certain purifying aspect of that struggle, which is, it's religious. It really is religious. It's sublime. And it's not so fun during, but in a sense, it makes you just appreciate the fuck out of your life, and sharpens your mind, and sharpens your body, and sharpens your spirit. And you got to appreciate that stuff, at least try while you're in the mix. I had a feeling right before I stepped on stage for the finals, where I was like, for months, I was looking forward to finally being done with prep so I could go back and eat, low calorie potato chips with my wife and do edibles and sit on the couch and watch movies, which is like my favorite thing to do. And I realized I had a bit of a moment of sadness. And I was like, wait a minute, oh my God, like, what goal am I going to do now? What's the purpose of my life now? And I luckily had the thought, like, as I was walking up to stage, it was like, relish this fucking shit. Let's finish fucking strong. Let's finish enjoying it. Let's finish really investing, so I can say I did it. And I didn't end prep by running away. I didn't end prep by going, thank God it's over. I ended prep by going, God damn it, we fucking did it up. And what I was holding is actually the most meaningful trophy I've ever received, was the 2nd place trophy. I've won tons of first places in jiu-jitsu and all this other shit. And this one meant so much because it was like, wow, I've arrived. I'm a contender. And I put my best foot forward. I was the leanest guy on stage. And like, all that stuff meant so much. Like, I finished on a strong note of, I'm enjoying the process. I'm in it. I don't want to run. I'm not finishing on the run. And that was really important to me. And it doesn't matter what the result is, how good you are, how good you don't ever amount to be. If you put your best foot forward, invest in yourself, enjoy the process, and enjoy working for whatever gains genetics allow you to have, you're going to be able to look back on all of this and be like, man, this shit was good. Because, and not to put too fine a point on it, this is actually written down in Flex magazine, so it's not controversial. And I think he has a slightly different take on it now. But right at the end of his career, Flex Wheeler was quoted in a few outlets as saying, I fucking hated bodybuilding the entire time I did it. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, like that was, yeah, oh yeah.
Wow.
And he's like, I fucking hated every goddamn minute of it. It was fucking awful. And I'm glad it's over. And then later, I think as he is involved in the sport more as a coach and a mentor and as an ambassador, he's sort of got the love back for it. But, you know, and you can, you know, he was the best, most gifted bodybuilder of all time, and he never won the Olympia. So I can understand that he was pretty sour. But, you know, and I think Flex is much worldlier now and appreciates everything that's going on. But his attitude that he had back when that article was published, you want to stay about as far away from, I'm sure wants to stay about as far away from that as possible. You want to stay as far away from that as you fucking can, because what, you know, at the end of the day, this is literally a hobby, you know, and it's a fucking stupid hobby too. Just imagine people in like Africa who don't have enough to eat. They're like, those guys willingly starve themselves. Like, for what? Do they get paid for it? Like, no, they pay money. Like I paid $390 for Jared to have a backstage coaching pass, which I saw 15 minutes of Jared Feather. I was like, this is an expensive time. But, you know, right. And so, you know, it's kind of an absurd thing we do anyway. And if you're not enjoying the process and enjoying the outcomes the victories that you can have, what is the point of doing it? And if you're really down on yourself and demand greatness, and say, I'm not going to enjoy this unless I win a pro card. I'm not going to enjoy this until I'm ranked number one, or blah, blah, blah. That's like making a deal with yourself that doesn't make any fucking sense. Because if you enjoyed it, would you try less hard? For me, when I enjoy things, I try harder. When I don't enjoy them, I try less hard. So if you can enjoy the process, you're probably into it more and your results will be better. So my big statement for today is, don't wait for victories or great things to happen for you to enjoy the process. Start enjoying it right now for what it is. Appreciate it for the challenges it gives you. Learn from these challenges, grow from them. And then you'll just be able to have all victories all the time. And then if you're worried that that soft attitude is going to not allow you to become your best, ask yourself if Kobe Bryant or if Michael Jordan enjoyed the process. They relished the process. They loved training. They loved pushing it in the gym. Michael Jordan liked lifting weights. Like he literally says, like he got into it and fucking put on muscle because he didn't want the Pistons to fuck him up anymore. He invested. And of course he had the highest hopes for himself. And he was really disappointed with losses, but he didn't hate the whole process. He loved the process and he loved the outcome. And so did almost every great athlete ever. And that's really what's a winning attitude. People think winners are down on themselves and hate who they are and are pissed and don't allow themselves to experience any happiness or feeling of accomplishment until the big victory. Statistically, that's mostly wrong. There are winners like that, but they're very rare. Most winners have a winner's mindset, an abundance mindset, an open-ended mindset of, I'm going to try to get all this fucking everything right now. I'm going to enjoy the fuck out of everything I can. I'm going to try my fucking hardest. I'm going to win every minute, win every day, win every year. And then when I actually win, and it's just, to me, another regular part of my life. Of course I was going to fucking win. Like, I've been invested in this process the entire time. It wasn't like I was hoping to do it. And honestly, when you get good enough to where you think you're going to win, the win isn't the surprise. You know, people always think the most magical victories are the ones where you're like, I can't believe I did it. But if you show up to a pro show and the guy checking you in is like, okay, well, whoever's in that division is fucking losing. And everyone online is like, dude, you're going to fucking nuke everyone. And then you literally I've done this, a joke backstage with competitors and nobody wants to joke with you because you're like, fuck you, asshole, you shredded everything. And then when you win, it's not much of a surprise. Is that really less sweet of a victory than if you were surprised? No. So by the time, if you think there's going to be this big religious experience when you finally win it and you're going to, oh, it was so amazing, you may not be correct. It might be more of like, oh, I guess I kind of had this coming at this point. So if you're waiting to exhale until your big victory and there's no exhalation because at that point it's obvious, hey, what's this? You're never going to exhale? You're never going to enjoy yourself? What the fuck is the point of all this? Anyway.
I think Pascal's going to really enjoy this chat as well because he had his first season this year as well, and he only did his one novice show, but he was smiling just like ear to ear the entire time he was on stage. And it wasn't like he thought he was in contention for the top, like for the top 3 or the top 5 or anything. He was just enjoying being on stage and being a bodybuilder, being part of community and feeling like he'd arrived, his own sort of arrival, like yours. So it's, I love this because I think this is where most people, I think the attention is always shown for like the elite, the winners.
Yes.
They always get it. But the majority of us aren't there. So the enjoyment and like what you're saying here is so important to get that message across. So I think to just the other people in the sport who can also really enjoy it and they can be proud of any placing, the fact they got to stage, they can be proud of that fact, because if they brought their best to stage, they know they did everything they could. What's more satisfying than that feeling? Like the winner could win and know they didn't give their all. Are they going to feel that great just because they won? Or are they going to be like, well, kind of won despite myself?
I've done that before. I've won jiu-jitsu matches where I made tons of mistakes and the other guy just sucked. And I was like, people are like, congratulations on your win. You always feel bad accepting it. You're like, thanks. Like if I had, and this is the trippy thing. People were congratulating me on Instagram and messaging me and calling me about my second place. It's a very funny text message to read. Congratulations on your second place. Wait a minute, I didn't win. So that's kind of funny, right? But at the same time, I feel in my heart that congratulation totally makes sense in this case, because I really did put my best foot forward here. And I got my all-time best look. And I got in the mix and I got to be a contender. And so it really does make sense for me to be like, well, yeah, I do feel the congratulations versus, I have won, categories and shows before against like fucking old ass men, like 55-year-olds. And I'm like 100 pounds of muscle. And they're like, congrats on your class victory. And I'm like, all right, like it's a win, but it's not about the win. The win is a result of you looking your fucking best. And if you can look your best, you're 90% of the way there. If you can look your best and win, then you're 100% of the way there. For some of us, that 100% is coming. For some of us, it will never come. But for all of us, it's completely out of our hands. That is up to the judges and who shows up. Always some freak can show up and upset the apple cart. And what are you going to do? Hinge your entire life's happiness and sadness on the existence of some other person you have no control over? It's an insane person's proposition. You fucking smile ear to ear when you fucking bring your best. And if you bring your best, sooner or later, you were John Meadows. I think we did like maybe 8 or 10 Masters pro qualifiers before he won. And every time he was close, every time he was a contender. It was just like one guy would show up every time. And it was just, John Meadows never had amazing lines. And the guy would show up, but he wasn't as lean and he wasn't as sharp, but he had just better lines, better muscle bellies, and he won. Imagine how John felt those times. Well, I don't know how he felt, but he was such an amazing person that he always seemed like he was like, oh, on to the next, no big deal, I'll just get better. And he did, and then he got his pro card. And boy, does that mean something after all those years. So if you ever get discouraged, just read about John Meadows and the fact that he's tried like 8 times and finally won his pro card. How dare you become pessimistic when John enjoyed the entire process the entire time?
Yeah. And I think, fortunately for like yourself, Mike, and for John, it was definitely the case. And for me, like the fact you have to try that hard to get anywhere makes you a better educator, a better coach, a better learner, versus if it all comes to you very easily. Yeah. Again, like you said, you get those coaches who are just like, yeah, I'm an IFBB pro, but I mean, I only know what kind of I've done and what worked for me, and that was everything. So surely this will work for you.
Yeah, I remember being in a seminar a very long time ago before I was Dr. Mike. It was a Dave Palumbo seminar. And then I actually watched another seminar. He did the same thing there that he did on video. He was on a seminar on video. I wasn't attending, but he was there with Kai Green and a few other people, top pros. And it was Q&A. And I thought this was a little bit unbecoming, but everyone took it well and it was hilarious. Somebody asked Kai Green a question and Dave cut him off and he's like, don't ask them questions. They don't know how they got what they got. They're genetically elite. Ask me the question. I had to earn all the shit because Dave never turned pro, but he was trying to turn pro at a time when they gave up one Masters Pro card the entire season. And actually back then they didn't even give up Masters Pro cards. It was just the Open. Dave Palumbo had the dog shit genetics. He just knew and ran gear and training and food so well and so hard that he was always a contender for 10 years until he retired. He never got it. But, I disagree with Dave Palumbo on a variety of his ideas. Not all of them. I think he's spot on some, but it's all respectful disagreement of like, I think we're just coming from different places. One of us is right, one of us is more wrong. No disrespect, but like if someone was like, hey, this random IFBB pro says this, and Dave Palumbo says like, who's right? I'm like, of course Dave Palumbo. That's my first guess, because he had to try, and he's fucking really smart, and he had to earn everything. And it's funny because when he said this, even Kai Green like just started laughing, and I was like, "Oh, he gave the mic right to Dave," and Dave answered the question. Kai was probably like, "Oh, thank God I never answered a stupid question again." But the reality is, like, you know, it was a strange thing to say at the time, a little rude, but he had a good point there where it was like, yeah, I wouldn't really ask that other guy because you imagine, like, you know, again, no disrespect, but asking Phil Heath advice on training 3 years into his career. So 3 years he's been training seriously. What does he know? Well, you know, what did you know in 3 years? What did I know in 3 years, Steve? Not much. He was an IFB pro already, and he was vying for his second place at the Olympia. You'd be like, oh, this guy knows everything. And if he was at that maturity level then, he'd be like, I don't know shit, man. And that's the reality of the matter. So you got to remember that the silver lining of trying and trying and trying is learning. And that's what it's all about, because then you can help the highest number of people. Again, you know, like there's a bunch of guys, you know, top pro coaches as far as popularity is concerned, at least, you know, Matt Jansen, Patrick Tour, a couple of the other guys, AJ Sims or whatever, you know, Chad Nichols, blah, blah, blah. Because how many of those guys are IFB pros? 0, maybe 1, maybe Patrick Tour is a pro. I don't know. None. Dave Palumbo is one of the top guys. Like, this is the people the pros pay unreal amounts of money to and desperately claw and scratch to get on their fucking waiting lists so that they can become better pros or turn pro. And none of these guys are pros themselves. So, you know, anytime you're really upset that you haven't won something, but you're also a coach and you help other people, remember that the winning has dick to do with how good of a coach you're going to become. Maybe 2%. You know, again, Chad Nichols. Who's that? Well, he's Coach Ronnie Coleman, and he's the guy that led Big Ramy to his first and second Olympias when Big Ramy was a contender for like 8 years, always the top and never could. So what is Chad Nichols? What is his bodybuilding contest experience? First of all, I have no idea if he's ever competed. I know his wife used to compete, and he sort of like started helping her. I don't think he's ever competed in bodybuilding as far as I know. And he sure as hell not a pro. And you'd be like, oh, can you imagine like him seeing him in the gym and some guy's like, hey, you want to go ask him a question about training your diet and drugs? And some guy's like, no, is he a pro? I'd be like, nah. He's like, fuck that guy. I want to ask the pro. And be like, he goes to ask Big Ramy, and Big Ramy just points right back to Chad and goes, go ask him because he's my coach. He'd be like, oh, okay, I've misconstrued this. So anytime you're not winning or not objectively compared to other people with better minds or whatever, as much as you will just keep learning. And then eventually you'll be coaching guys with better genetics than you. And that's really, I think, magical, because in some sense, every pro you help is a pro card you kind of own.
Yeah. No, very well said. That's what I think I said that somewhere. I was like, I feel like for me at least, my kind of service to the sport is less as a competitor and more as a coach and kind of spreader of good information. So like that's the way I tend to hold myself, and that's the way I think about it. So, but I think a really nice chat there, Mike, at least for me, very much. I enjoyed it a lot, and I think the listeners are probably very similar to myself. So I think they will have taken a lot away from that.
Super. On to the questions.
Yeah, well, I was just going to ask, there was some questions surrounding kind of future plans. So I don't know if you want to quickly touch on that, and then maybe like big takeaways from this prep, if there was anything.
Sure. Yeah. Future plans are always tentative. So I'll start with saying that. And there's basically like we could just be doing some different stuff. But the future plan is I'm currently 37 and a half years old. And there's a master's division that's 35 to 40, and there's another master's division that's 40 to 45. And I want to, it's been kind of consensus among people that I've talked to that when you're young, you push for size, and when you're older, you can always get into really good conditioning. Like the idea that older guys can't get in shape is not a myth. It's the opposite of the truth. Like there's this thing in bodybuilding called like old guy lean, which is just a totally different weird look, like John Meadows and stuff like that. And some of those guys are just like Jeff Alberts, you know, like what the fuck kind of negative body fat is that? Like, what is that even? So, But there is an understanding that you can't just keep trying to add size and use lots of gear when you're in your mid 40s. Like, your heart at some point is just like, bro, fuck this. I'm out. Cash me out. So I think this is now the time. Talked it over with the folks around me, and this is now the time. I've already trialed this last year, and I probably put on like something like 5 to 10 pounds, like 10 pounds of muscle over this last year of pushing the sports supplements just a little bit more, and actually just taking some time to put on mass, because competing often and putting on mass are two completely diametrically opposed things. So I think my plan here is either for the next year and a half, or well, sorry, I'm going to say that better. Either for the next year or 2 years, go through masses and active rests and mini cuts to put on a lot of size, and then either in a year, I start a half-year process to prep for one of the master shows, or in 2 years, I start another half-year process. So either when I'm age 39 or age 40, I step back on the stage. That's the current plan, with hopefully a lot more muscle. And now that I know how to get really lean, I'm going to get really fucking lean. And if I'm healthy, if my body parts are still attached to me and I'm still alive, I will be a fucking nasty problem. I was already a problem at this show for everyone except one guy, and it was a problem for him too. They compared the fuck out of us. So, give me another 10 to 15 pounds of muscle, another 5 pounds less fat, and
it's going to look scary.
At the very least, it's going to look sweet, and it's going to be really fun to do. And I've had my health checkups and all that stuff, and I'm very healthy. I have this thing like, I'm to say some racist shit. Jews are like notoriously just like unhealthy from day one, but they also live till they're like 90 because they're just unhealthy the whole time. They never die. So I have like, this is going to age really poorly when I die of a heart attack in 3 days. But like, as far as my blood work is concerned anyway, I have that whole like Jewish immortality thing. Like my parents are shaped like hobbits, and they're like, like my mom looks 15 years younger than she is for no good goddamn reason at all. Like shit like that. I seem to have quite good health for my age and how much gear I'm using, and the gear doesn't really fuck me up unless I use the wrong shit, and now I know what the right shit and wrong shit is. So there's like a decent chance I can put on a lot more muscle and really peak in my early 40s and put the cap on that career. So I'm pumped.
Hi guys, Steve here. Just wanted to take a moment of your time to remind you of our online coaching service. At Revive Stronger, we pride ourselves on providing personalized service that will take your physique and knowledge to the next level. If you're interested, check the description and sign up. Do you know what the heaviest super heavy was?
Show?
Yeah.
I don't know body weights. I could probably ask the promoters because all the current check-in cards are official. I'll tell you what, there was this one dude, he was a black dude who was probably 6'4", 6'5". Like Steve, I looked at him like this. Yes. And I'm not kidding. He wasn't ultra lean, so he didn't place. But he had a complete physique. His arms must have been 23 or 24 inches.
Wow.
When I got in line, because you can never see yourself, I got in line and I was like, I'm taking last. Everyone's enormous. And that guy is like shaft on all the steroids in the world. Like I was just like blown away. And like he must have weighed 70 to 290. I mean, enormous.
Wow.
Yeah. On stage, I weighed 216 pounds. I weighed in at 225 Friday. And on finals, I was on stage at 216. I was probably 220 on stage in prejudging. So
crazy. But
yeah.
I mean, at your height, that's ginormous. So
yeah. So I'm 5'6". So it looked big on stage. And maybe there's some kind of fantasy world in which next time I'm on stage, I weigh 230 on stage, but a bit leaner. That would be real neat.
Yeah. And then, any major takeaways or lessons from this prep? More time, was that one?
No, this was a 17-week prep. The other one was 22. I could use more time to get even leaner, but I just didn't know because I'd never been super lean before. That I'm like, oh, wow, there's actually more to go.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I had the same.
Like, oh, I can still push this. Like, cool. Lessons. It always ends up being about farm. I want to try to distill some lessons both for folks that are drug-free and folks that are interested in the other dark side of the sport. Because I always want some combination of transparency. I don't ever want to lie to people and be like, yeah, I really just ate more turkey instead of steak, like some stupid shit. Like, shut up. So I kind of want to be upfront about the things that really mattered and the things that I think some natty folks could take away. I will say for the natty side, step tracking wins again. I just did 11,000 steps on average, and it was amazing. Sleep quality was the best it's ever been on prep, and I made sure to take all the sleep hygiene stuff to make that happen, and it worked. If you wake up in the middle of the night really hungry, what I would say is take 15 or 20 grams of your protein macros away from the day and leave them either in a shake or a pudding, or like we have these egg white wraps in the United States, which are pre-made wraps of egg whites. So it's just 5 grams of protein per wrap, and it's god awful. It tastes awful. It doesn't taste good, and it's like a chore eating it. So you're like,
perfect.
Yeah, exactly. It's really, really good. So we have that, and I ate those. I ate 3 wraps, 15 grams of protein, and that's it. That's literally the macros. When I would wake up in the last 2 weeks, I woke up almost every night at like 4:30 in the morning, like this, like wide awake, starving to death. And that really helped because I ate the egg whites, and it gave me just enough of a parasympathetic feedback response for like, oh, you're full, to where I could go another REM cycle, and then I would wake up, at 7 or something and be awake. But I had all the sleep time that I needed. My training went unbelievably well because every time I went into training, I just either added 2.5 or 5 pounds to the bar or added a rep. And that's all I did. I never tried to make mega PRs. I never auto-regulated. Like, I feel great today, I'm going to go really hard. Some of the training wasn't quite as hard as you would think. Towards the end, it got pretty tough. But on average, it's just these little tiny progressions. Someone asked me, how much strength did you lose? And I was all-time strongest in the last week before the show, ever. And all the reps were moderate. I didn't do any low rep stupid bullshit. I could have. I had tons of strength. But I just really... not a conservative approach to training, a measured approach. I'm just going to take my little victories. And little victories are a big fucking deal added up. So choosing high SFR movements. Now I have my own gym. So all the equipment is almost exactly the ideal thing I want to train. I mean, it's a miracle, a fucking miracle to train your own gym. Unbelievable. Now, most of the prep, I didn't train in my own gym. It was just the last month, but good God, was that an easy fucking month. And so that was a big deal. And I suppose, again, just for clarity, I don't use drugs ever. This is all alternate universe pretend stuff. We're going to pretend together what alternate universe Mike did. And so in alternate universe, growth hormone is fucking unbelievable. People asked me over the last year, and I used YouTube videos about my mass phase of what was the really thing that I changed that allowed me to gain 10 pounds of muscle. I'll just be straight up. I'm tired of beating around the bush. I didn't do this, but if I did, this would be what would have gained me 10 pounds of muscle. I just took my growth hormone from roughly 4 units per day to 6 units per day. I wish I could have some elaborate thing. There's a lot of people who were like, oh, you gained so much muscle. What changed with your training and nutrition? I've been an expert on the cutting edge of training and nutrition for years. I'm discovering new stuff all the time, but nothing transformational anymore, especially as far as it concerns me. Theoretical underpinnings are very transformational, but as far as practical and applied stuff, I got this stuff pretty well figured out. It's certainly nothing that's going to result in 10 more pounds. It's over the past few years, I've gained 2 to 3 pounds, 2 to 4 pounds, 1 to 3 pounds, and then 10. It's okay, what is it? Well, it's that. So real talk. And then, so that was a fucking big deal. And the next big deal, that was what allowed me to gain all that muscle. And the big deal that allowed me to get really lean and do it incredibly seamlessly was, for the first time ever in a real way, I used thyroid support. Anabolics tend to shut down thyroid production, and you become hypothyroid, which multiplies all of your diet fatigue symptoms by 1,000. And also prevents you literally from losing fat. And even if you cut your calories super low, and it's just all bad in every possible way. And this time I got my shit together earlier and consulted with some folks, with Broderick and then with Joe Jeffrey, and figured out a thyroid support protocol. We started in the middle of the prep, and I was literally a week out from the show, and I was like, I have energy. It's insane. And the fact that every other competitive bodybuilder at my level or above had already been doing this for years, it just makes me want to shoot myself in the face for how much time I wasted. And so probably now I go to year-round thyroid support, which is like just a thing you should be doing if you're on serious mission for bodybuilding and you're enhanced. And, just so motherfuckers don't get crazy with any kind of inferences. The correct answer for me is 100 micrograms of T4 per day and 25 to 50 for the last couple of weeks, micrograms of T3. If that doesn't make any sense to you, don't worry about it. If that makes sense to you, then you can be like, oh, okay, that's what it is. No, I don't mean thyroid support like, hey, it was 150 micrograms of T3 and I had 5 heart attacks on the way down. It's just basically keeping the thyroid at or just slightly above where it normally would be, and instead of the anabolics crushing the fuck out of it. And that allowed me to lose weight and lose weight and lose weight and get leaner and leaner and leaner. I was like, holy fucking shit. And then another thing that we figured out last year, and again, successfully used it, was I have a real body water problem where I store a shitload of body water from anabolics. And the last week and a half, we used aldactone, and that directly hits the pathway that stores body water through anabolics. And within 3 days of using it, it looks like I lose about 2 or 3% body fat visually. I'm just like, so we did that and it worked super well. And then we pulled the water back earlier because I'm still, even with aldactone, a giant water buffalo. We did that under Jared's guidance. It was a weird thing because I was like, holy fuck, I'm not going to drink water for a long time. And I got really, really thirsty. But a few hours after, my fluid compartment switched around, blood volume filled back up, and it wasn't that thirsty. And then I got really, really thirsty again a few hours later, and then it wasn't that thirsty. And actually, right after I stepped off stage, I wasn't even that thirsty. And I drank some water and it felt okay. And then a little while later, I got thirsty again and drank some water. So there was never like a time where I came off stage and I was like, a gallon, like it just never happened. So that's really kind of the big things that changed. And I wish I had some more insightful shit rather than, but I guess the good news is it's very direct, and it's more of like, just to put this in perspective, 6 units of growth for someone of my muscularity is considered still a bit of a joke. Most guys, as far as I can tell, have heard or known directly that for their height, weigh what I do or more, they run 8 to 16 units a day. Some of the guys much more than that. So,
did you say 8 to 16? Wow.
Yeah, some of the top Olympians have run 18 units per day. This is a matter of, I think, pretty close to public record, but apparently, allegedly, the 2003, the Ronnie's redemption year, he ran 18 units on his off season, 36 units a day on his contest prep. That's a little bit of, that's kind of nuts. Not everyone would survive that process, but with 6 units, I might eventually go up to 9 units towards the tail end of my career. Growth hormones, unbelievable, and a bunch of different ways. And if you're curious as to how it works, sign up for Broderick Chavez's pay site or go on his Instagram, go to Physique Collective with Joe Jeffrey and sign up for his site and look at his YouTube videos, and you'll learn a whole bunch of synergies and pathways. And it's just really neat stuff. And last thing I'll say about that as far as future plans is, for now, my use of insulin, which is incredibly synergistic with growth hormone anabolics, has been very, very small amount, very sporadic amount. It will seemingly be more intelligent, applied, and consistent, and not a ton, but more consistent. What I've been told is that's going to make it really, really gigantic. So we'll see how this video ages. But if I get really much more jacked over the next few years, and people are going to be like, what's the change? We can look back and send them this video and be like, ta-da. But again, all this is just BS for fun. I don't actually ever use any of this substances.
What people were waiting for was like, I stopped training with reps in reserve. And I just take it into the house.
I just
assisted
go
reps,
to
pass failure, low volume.
I hit failures 0 times during this entire prep. So I hit like some 1 RIR sets, and that was about it. So I hit a few 0 RIR sets on pressing.
It's not what people want to hear. They want to hear the magic secret.
Yeah, well, hey, drugs are really the magic secret, and but a marginal increase in some of the drugs, right? Exactly. That's boring. Yeah, and just for public record, I tried using Tren again for the nth time, and it just so disagrees with me that I stopped using it after a few weeks, and instead of trying to use more VAR, and VAR is my miracle drug, and it's great and amazing and relatively much safer than most other drugs. That doesn't mean you should be doing it. What you do is between your coach and your medical doctor, and so long as it's legal in your country. And no Tren prep feels way better.
I think everyone appreciates the honesty with everything there. And like you said, you even managed to squeeze out some for us naturals, like the waking up in the middle of the night starving. There's definitely people that suffer from that. So knowing that like a small bolus of protein, abate that hunger, parasympathetic,
it can make a huge difference. Because here's the thing. If you say, okay, well, I have 250 grams of protein to eat through the day. If you switch to 235 to eat through the day, look, like all the literature in the world says you're not losing any more muscle. It's nonsense. You're totally fine. And then you have 15 grams with you prepared in your fridge for if you need it, if you really can't wake up. And a bunch of nights I woke up and I was like, ooh, is it time for me to pull the trigger on this emergency protein? And I was like, let me lie in bed for a little bit and see if I can fall back asleep. 10 minutes later, I was asleep. 3 hours later, I woke up and I was like, oh my God, sweet. Like I have extra macros to spare for today or whatever. And then that's the right answer. But if you have that trigger, two things. One, you can pull it and eat the protein, and it really does help put you back to sleep. And like if it fails to do that, you weren't going to go back to sleep anyway. So at least you tried. It doesn't cost you any daily macros. It doesn't cost you any body fat gain. It's literally like a costless process. Another thing is having the option to do it can put you so much at ease. Because imagine if you're scared that you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and not be able to go back to sleep, you know all the deleterious effects that poor sleep has on your prep. And if you're freaked out and think, fuck, like, oh my God, I sure hope I sleep through the night. If you have it in the back of your head, like, if I wake up, no big deal. I get to eat some protein and go back to sleep. Then it actually may keep you sleeping through the night more simply because you're not as freaked out. So it's a huge victory. And I would highly recommend people look into that because it works. And if the problem to you is like really poorly phrased, and if you're like, but I don't ever wake up in the middle of the night, then no worries. Then you don't have to do this. But I know some people really do struggle with this. And not even the middle of the night. Like maybe you normally sleep till 8:30, but you've been waking up at 7 recently. That's a whole REM cycle. You could wake up at 7, eat your 15 grams of protein, just try to go back to bed. And if you can sleep another 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 40 minutes or an hour and a half, it's all victories. And if you can't, then after 10 minutes of just being in bed, not being able to sleep, then just go up. You were going to wake up anyway. Go up and do your thing.
I know people get funny with the like chrononutrition, like you shouldn't be eating during like a sleeping window, but I know, just because I think this has come up before, but when I think about those things, I'm like, this is a very unique situation that's definitely not been studied, starving bodybuilders. So I think, especially if, like you said, you've done this and you've seen real benefit from it, and protein seems to be the least impactful on sleep anyway. When
least impactful, potentially not impactful at all. But let's ask another question. If you're really big on chrononutrition, answer me this in your own head or in the YouTube comments. What do you think is better, getting 5.5 hours of sleep and not eating any protein before not eating a protein bolus before your next sleeping interval, or eating 15 grams of protein before a sleep interval and getting a sum total of 7 hours? If you look at the literature of how much at those margins sleep makes a difference on body composition and performance, you're really going to tell me that 15 grams of protein that it took to put you to sleep is going to negate that because of chrononutrition? What the fuck are you talking about? It's a huge victory. Huge victory. Like it's not even in the fucking realm of comparison. Like it's like it's almost like, if you have a flight somewhere and you can upgrade to business class and get your own layback seat and sleep the whole time for like an extra $100 and the flight costs $900. Are you like, well, I don't know, that's $100. Like, it's a qualitative change that's enormous. It's not up for debate. Of course it's worth $100. Now, if you don't have $100, it sucks. But like, if you don't have 15 grams of protein, it sucks. But who doesn't have 15 grams of protein? Of course you have that. So I would tuck it away. I would really, if that really thing is really bothering you, I would absolutely do it.
Yeah. Awesome. I think I have a ton of questions, but I thought it was quite nice just to reflect on your prep and dig into that. And I can drag you back on in the new year probably to go through some of these questions that I've gathered because, we'll be doing this in the new year. But in the meantime, have you got much going over? Like just more videos over on the YouTube channel? I guess now you can really start pushing the Instagram, make sure you can get that following back up. You need to be at 100K in no time, surely. Like you got to overtake me at least very quickly. Everyone who follows me needs to be following you. I'm at the bottom
of the barrel. Dr. Mike Israetel on Instagram. No more RP Dr. Mike. That account's fucked. Come follow me. It'll be a great time. And I've actually just started offering a program writing thing. I can write you a program for diet training combo, or I can just do a phone consult, and all the program writing comes with a 30-minute phone consult where we go over your plan. And it's not a coaching thing because I explicitly in the contract, I don't follow up with you. You don't follow up with me. Just 12 weeks and you're off on your own with whatever diet and training we've said. It's all auto-regulated, of course, but you're sort of told how to do that. So if anyone has interest in that, feel free to inquire. But I normally just I'll post it every few weeks on my Instagram, and I'll fill up really fast. And so I'm probably going to be raising rates just because I only want to do like 2 to 5 of these every week or few weeks. So it's going to be a real limited service. But if you find yourself comfortable paying what I'm going to be asking for, and you want a custom plan and a consult, something to look out for.
That's really cool. It didn't surprise. It went very quickly the first time, didn't it? So.
Oh my God, dude! I literally like posted it, took a shower, got out, and I was like, "Oh shit, delete!" I had like 20 Instagram messages with serious interest right away, and I was like, "I can't keep doing this." And now I have a whole week's worth of work. I have to be super busy making this plan. I was like, "God damn it! I'm supposed to be on vacation. I should have turned it off sooner." But I'll raise the rates concomitantly, and it'll be a cool thing. If you're interested, just DM me on Instagram. Please don't message RP or anything like that because they just have to forward it to me. But
awesome. Yeah, I'm sure you'll get a bunch of people interested listening to this. So that's very exciting. And yeah, guys, thank you very much for listening. And we'll catch you in the next one. So I'm Steve Hall, founder of Revive Stronger and a coach of Revive Stronger.
My name is Pascal Flor. I'm the co-owner of Revive Stronger and also a coach, of course.
Revive Stronger has probably been going solidly for 3 years, roughly about 3 years.
Revive Stronger, to me, it is becoming kind of my child, my foster child. It's the gathering and getting together of like-minded people.
We've been expanding the coaching team, which is helping us help more people, but each coach can only help a certain number of people.
Right now, it's all over the place. We have YouTube, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, but there isn't that community aspect behind that.
And so the next step for us is developing a membership site.
So basically, we want to create a family and a community that is then benefiting from another.
A really cool community for people within our little niche is going to be a website.
They will get early access to our podcast.
You can access us, ask us questions.
The community aspect, we have a forum there. You can ask questions, but also you can log your journey.
There's also going to be courses on there.
Courses, presentations on different topics. Discount of past seminar footage. We will log our journey as well. We'll start vlogging.
We're going to have documentaries.
Our entire athletic journey. Furthermore, they get access to an exercise video library.
The exercises that we love for hypertrophy and maximizing hypertrophy, we're going to go through those in depth, telling you how to execute them.
We kept them concise and also mobile friendly so that you can watch them in between your sets.
I'm super excited to grow this community. The amount of value that we're going to be delivering is huge. And I'd love you to be part of it.
You will get so much out of that.
I'll see you inside.